950 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Hello, welcome to the Fire Up Connect radio show. This is James Watson with Sales Catapult, which is part of the larger sales acceleration network of fractional VPs of sales. I'm also an active and proud member of the Fire Up Connect Business Networking Group. And today we'll be discussing some best practices for small business owners. I've got several great guests joining me today. I've got first is going to be Al Batinga and Deanna Mendeville of Digitized Learning. Al and Deanna develop and deliver courses, programs, and coaching programs. And Deanna is operations and marketing individual. Then we're going to have Nidhi Dandriel of LTS Accelerator, and she's heading up the LTS Accelerator program and LTS startup business in the USA. And then finally, we'll have Bill Kirschbaum of Good News, spelled GNUS, who's a marketing consultant to business companies that helps them break the shot in the dark tactics and turns on the light so you can see the path towards business growth. So Al and Deanna, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
All right, thank you. We're glad to be here.
So again, Al and Deanna run a digitized learning service, an organization that specializes in high performance individuals and business teams. And I'll let you decide who's going to answer this, but what would you two define is a high performance team?
All right, so a high performance team is a group of two or more that meet and exceed their goals and objectives. And the last word is probably the most important word, consistently. So when you consistently meet and exceed goals and objectives, you can be in that high performance team segment.
Now, are these, are you targeting high performance teams that you're going to work with, or are you going in and working with teams to become high performance teams, or both?
So generally speaking, if you look at the landscape in the work environment, most teams, the greatest majority, probably at least 80%, are not high performance teams. And so that's pretty much our market, right? They don't perform at their potential. They don't play at the highest levels. And so that's where our expertise comes in. So we will go to let's call it, for lack of a better way to put it, just a normal team that does a good job. We want them to do a great job. We want them to fulfill everything they can. And so that's our role in there. And so we build and develop high performance teams to meet and exceed goals and objectives consistently.
Okay. So who would you say is your ideal client?
So our ideal client is either individuals that are looking to level up their skills, or teams specifically. So someone that manages a team that they're just not performing at the highest level. That is who we're looking for.
So I'll add one thing to what Deanna just mentioned. So when she said that individual wants to level up, so our ideal individual is a high performance individual that can play on almost any high performance team. So if you have these core skills, you can jump into a high performance team. And that's the goal when we have an individual that we work with.
Okay. So what would you say are the major challenges of a team?
The major challenges of the team is inefficiencies, lack of communication, not working together, not being proactive with the team, lack of leadership and modeling the way. So those are things that are challenging teams today.
Okay, and how would you address those challenges?
So probably the biggest core of this, we do a very full and complete assessment. So we have assessment tools and the generic type assessments where we have conversations. We talk 360, if most of you know that term, where we might talk to clients, we might talk to managers, front desk, and we just get a full picture of how this team performs. And then we have actually a little bit more complex type tools where we're assessing personalities and the like. So it depends on the kind of teams that we're talking about, but we want to ensure that we know exactly where they're at today And then we talk with their management team, their leadership team on where they want to go in, let's say, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and the like, and we work on that. So the number one is to really get a full assessment, to really understand it. And it's underneath the scenes at times. It's not for me and you to have a conversation. We may get to a certain place, but we won't get deep until I talk to people around you, people who work with you. Maybe it's your clients, maybe it's your constituents, maybe it's your suppliers. So we get a full assessment of exactly where you're at to move forward and to work on the things that we need to work on from here on.
Okay. When you're doing these assessments and this ongoing benchmarking, it seems, what are you finding are the traits of a high performance team?
So probably the number one trait, and I've found it through many, many years of working, is this high level of communication. So if you go to an organization in general, for me at least, I found I've been in over 100 organizations working on these kinds of issues as well as others. And it's always communication, unfortunately. And it's an interesting dynamic because everybody knows it. We have complaints about it all the time, and yet we don't address it. So the very core, a high performance team is very strong communicator. Deanna and I, Jovin's in the Philippines, she works with us. So the three of us, we were on the communication this morning for 2 hours, and we're talking through challenges, issues, and all three of us have an equal voice. And so we have that kind of high level communication where everyone matters, everyone counts, everyone communicates. And that's the core to a high performance team. And then it goes out from there.
Okay. So how would you say, based on your experience, how does one become a high performance individual?
So we have 6 core skills, and the very first skill is emotional intelligence. And the very first part of the very first skill is self-awareness. Unfortunately, most people are not self-aware, and that's not a slam on anybody because everybody's so busy doing what they need to do. And that's exactly how teams work, by the way. It's not about the manager or the supervisor being a poor manager, They just have so many things to do in a day that they never get to some of the foundational concepts that Deanna, myself, and Jovin can look and spot at. So to become a high performance team, you really have to understand your self-awareness. That's probably number one concept. Where am I strong? Where am I weak? What am I best at? What do I do best work? If you've ever read Good to Great, one of the fundamentals is get the right people on the bus, right? And so you get the right people on a team. And then secondarily, you get the right people on the bus in the right seat, because you have people doing accounting who should be doing something else. You got people in sales, as you well know, James, right? Doing sales, and they need to be doing marketing, or they need to do a different type of sale.
Well, that's all very interesting and important stuff, Al and Deanna. What is the best way for people to get a hold of you?
So the best way would be to go to our website. It would be digitizelearning.com, and they could go ahead and schedule with us there. We do have some information on there. If somebody is struggling with their team inefficiencies, not meeting or exceeding their goals, they can go ahead and book a call with us, and we can go ahead and see if that's something that we can work with.
Great. All right. Well, thank you again, Al and Deanna. We are going to go to station break now, so please don't go away. And when we come back, we will be speaking with Nidhi Dandrial of LTS Accelerator.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field.
The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Welcome back to Fire Up Connect. This is your host, James Watson, with Sales Catapult. We just heard from Al Batinga and Deanna Mendeval talking about their digitized learning platform that specializes in high-performance individuals and business teams. And now we'll be talking with Nidhi Dandrial of LTS Accelerator. Welcome, Nidhi.
Thank you very much, James. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the introduction.
Sure thing. And you know what Nidhi does is, as a consultant for business to business businesses, she helps them to grow their technology in business, and they're also involved in funding. So Nidhi, could you tell me a little more? What is LTS? You know, tell us something about your work and your services.
Yeah, so to brief you, LTS is a technology and business partner company. We've been in this business for the last 18 years, and in US, we have been in the business for the last 14 years, and we work very closely with the startups. We help them achieve their goals. We help them make their business successful, and we help them maximize the ROI. So we are based out of LA, and we have operations in New York and in Chicago. Apart from that, we have operations in Singapore, in Ukraine, and in India. In India, we cover 4 major cities, which is Mumbai, Pune, Gurgaon, and Bangalore. So about our services, we have various services for startups. So we like to categorize startups into 3 categories. The first one being the seed category. So to define the seed category startups, these would be the ones that have employee strength of around 1 to 5 people, and probably are just starting or have been in the business for the last 1 year. The second category of startup would be early. Somewhere they would have their employee strength around, let's say, 5 to 10 people, and would be in the business for the last 2-3 years. The last category is mature. So mature category, we would like to define the startups who have employee strength of around 10 to 100 people, and who've been in the business for the last 5 years. So we have various services depending on the kind of or the category of the startup. So for seed level startup, we have a program called as LTS Accelerator, which I head and take care of its business in the US market. Then for early startup, we have various IT services. For example, DevOps, we have cloud development, we have business intelligence and mobility services. And for mature startups, we have various IT services based on their requirement. For example, product engineering, service engineering, IoT, and gamification and e-learning. So we have various services like that, and we also help them set up their offshore development team. So those are the kind of services we provide to various startups.
Okay. So you mentioned you're global and you're in a lot of different markets, Asia and the US. Where is the majority of your business, or does it vary by the type of services that you provide?
It actually varies by the type of service, but I think the majority of our business is actually in the US.
Okay. All right. And how did you get the idea of even starting the LTS Accelerator program?
So actually, that's a really good question. So as I said, we have been in the startup business in the US for the last 14 years. And earlier, we had been providing them with different services. So for example, some technical services, some services with their sales, with the marketing. And what we realized is that when somebody starts with a business, they actually started with a very limited fund, which could be their hard-earned money, their hard-earned savings, or maybe some help with their family and friends. So the two most important things for startup is money and time. When they start their business, they are running around doing everything on their own to save money, or else they're reaching out to different companies for different services, and they're paying, different sum to different people or to different companies, right? So, for example, if they're taking technical help from some company, they're paying them a heavy amount. On the other hand, if they're taking sales help or marketing help, they're paying everybody differently. So it increases a lot of, it actually causes a lot of hassle for them because they have to coordinate with different people, they have to pay out to various people, and that actually kind of digs into their pocket, and they actually lose their money by the time they are, able to launch their product. I think they utilize most of their time and nearly all of their money, and they run out of business. That is one of the most that is one of the reasons that startups run out of business very early and they fail. So we decided to come up with a one-stop solution for these startups, and we introduced LTS Accelerator program, where we help them grow their business. We help them create a platform. We help them build their product to version 1.0 and hold their hand throughout the process. We help them create sales channels, and we help them with the investor funding. So because we already have a network of our partners who help them raise funds, what we do is we create business models for them. We take them to the investor rounds, and we save them a lot of time and a lot of hassle in this process, because we understand what kind of investor will be investing in a healthcare business or in an e-commerce business. And that is how we help them from the very start till they become really successful. And by the time they have launched their product in the market, they get more funds to invest more in their startup that is just started and is out there.
So it sounds like you have a very comprehensive program and processes in place. How would you say that LTS Accelerator program is different than other accelerators out there?
Well, see, there are a lot of accelerators in the US. But most of these accelerators, what they do is they provide companies with basic hardware help, or they can help them with an office setup, right? But I think the most important thing for startup is to have mentorship for somebody to be able to tell them how and what is to be done, how is that to be done. As I said, they start with a very limited fund. If they do not have an understanding of how they have to budget that, how they have to spend that, and divide it into their basic requirements of creating the platform, investing into technology, investing into sales and marketing, and if they don't understand when is that required, at what time, then eventually they're going to fail. So I think when they sign up with our program, with our LTS Accelerator program, the biggest help is that we provide them with mentorship at every level. So we don't just help them with technology and lead them. So we are there throughout their entire journey of startup, from, as I said, from the point of conception to actually launching the product, creating the sales channel, reaching out to the customers, creating customer base, and getting more investment. So I think how we differentiate from other accelerators is we provide them with a very strong mentorship, and we are always there, and they can rely on our advice and on our guidance to what steps have to be taken ahead.
So are your services specific to any industry?
Not really. So we are open to all kinds of industry. We've been working in healthcare, in e-commerce, and gamification. We are pretty much open to all kinds of industry.
Okay, you talked a lot about the early stages, and then getting the funding during that time. Do you have other services that you offer for more mature startups?
Yes, so for mature startups, we have various IT services as per their requirement. So we provide them with product engineering services, solution engineering services, IoT, gamifications, e-learning, some development services, and we help them do that at a very competitive pricing because we provide them with. I think that the biggest challenge that mature companies face is finding the talent and finding the right talent and at a very suitable budget, right? So that is where we come in and we provide them with that help. We also help them opening an offshore development center in India. So that is how we help them maximize their ROI because when you compare it with US, in India they can get a very good resource, a world-class resource at a very competitive rate.
Okay. On that note, what would you say are the advantages besides that of having an offshore development or ODC center with LTS?
See, first thing, I think, in US, it is getting really difficult to find the right resource. So the very first thing is that we help them find a really good resource. The second thing is that we provide world-class quality personnel and who work and cover the hours difference. So the time zone difference, that is a very important factor. We provide them with 24/7 support, and we also take care of all the IV protection and security. So they don't have to worry about anything.
Okay.
It is actually more like their team working in India. Everything is under their control and they're working out of our facility. So they're covered in pretty much everything.
Okay. So they're essentially like offsite employees,
right.
And they're getting that level of service and intimacy from your organization.
And we also take care that the people who are working here are culturally aligned with their team in the US. So I think that is also pretty important if they have to work with a different team. So they have to be culturally aligned.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you, sharing that all with us. What is the best way for people to get a hold of you?
So they can actually reach out to me on my email, which is nidhi, nidhid@leotechnosoft.net. They can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn page is by the name of Nidhi Dandrial, and they can also get in touch with me on my Skype, which is again nidhi@leotechnosoft.net.
Okay.
Or they can call me on Skype.
Okay.
323-218-0050.
All right. Well, thank you again, Nidhi. And we are going to go to a station break now. And when we return, we will be speaking with Bill Kirschbaum of Good News. So don't go away.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career.
Because they actually have experience working in the field. The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections. Hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Welcome back to the Fire Up Connect radio show. We just heard from Nidhi Dandrial of LTS Accelerator, and we will now be talking to Bill Kirschbaum of Good News, spelled GNUS. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you. It's great to be here. How are you doing today, James?
I'm doing very good. Thank you. So Bill is a marketing consultant for business companies that are tired of merely treading water. They need to grow, but nothing they do seems to gain the traction they're looking for. Gaining new customers is like playing a frustrating game of whack-a-mole. And Bill's company, Good News, breaks the cycle of shot-in-the-dark tactics and turns on the light so you can see the path towards business growth. So Bill, your company is Good News, but it's spelled kind of funny. What's the story behind that?
Yeah, so it's spelled good and then GNUS, which is a wildebeest, a new. And my company name actually used to be Bill Kirschbaum Content Marketing. And the pandemic hit, and like many businesses, it caused me to rethink a lot of what I did and a lot of, what am I in business for, and what is my industry about? What is marketing about? And what do my clients need most from me? And among other things, I realized that I really found my business name to be very boring. It was my own name, Bill Kirschbaum, and I didn't like it.
Okay.
But the pandemic caused me to realize marketing is more than just about building your bottom line. And I think a lot of the time we forget that. We think that marketing is the purpose of marketing is to generate qualified leads for sales. And it certainly needs to do that, but that's not the ultimate purpose of marketing. And really, the ultimate purpose of marketing is to help a business to thrive and to accomplish its mission. And if you're like most businesses, your mission is not to, your mission is not to simply to turn a profit. Again, that's something you need to do. But your mission, I'm guessing, is probably to do good in the world, to make a difference in people's lives. I work with B2B companies, and I think especially in the B2B world, your whole purpose is to put into the world something that is going to make your clients successful, make their lives better. And so backing that back, really the purpose of marketing then is to do good in the world. It's to spread a message of optimism and hope. And man, pandemic hit, and everybody just needs to hear that, right? We need messages of hope and optimism. And I kept thinking about that. I thought, this theme of good news kept coming back to me, right? I want my business to do good in the world. I want my business to help my clients succeed and to be a better business. And I want my clients, in the marketing that I do for them, to make an impact in their world as well. And that's good news.
Yeah.
And so that theme just kept coming back to me. I thought, well, Good News as a name is kind of dorky. It feels cliche and kind of almost Pollyannish. But if I could play with it, so I changed the spelling, Good News, and I love it because it captures some joy. It creates curiosity. It's whimsical. It's witty, and I think marketing should have those elements to it as well.
Yeah.
It should not be stale. So
Well, there's
Yeah.
a lot of there's enough bad news out there. So I do like the name Good News.
Oh, thanks.
It really resonates. And, you know, as anyone who owns a company knows, when you need to grow your business, all you want to do is get that next sale. But there's danger in that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been through this myself as a business owner. I've been in a position where I've needed that next sale, and I didn't have the clients that I needed in order to gain the profits and to see the business growth that I wanted to see. And that can be really really stressful and very anxiety producing. And when you get into that kind of a place, all you want is everybody you talk to become your customer. and that is dangerous for a number of reasons. One is not everybody should be your customer. And simply because you can sell to somebody doesn't mean you should sell to that person, because it can hold back your business. But also when you are in that sale mode, it's going to come across and people are going to see it. And there's a saying that people want to buy, but they don't want to be sold to. And I think that's really true. Again, B2B world, you've got customers that are very deliberate in their buying process. And pushing that sale too quickly can really hurt your chances of gaining new customers.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're not supposed to be selling, how do you get more customers?
Yeah, good question. There's kind of this, again, a saying that marketers like to refer to, that getting a lead to the point of purchase is a lot like a courtship, right? And you've got this path that goes from the first time you meet the customer, so to speak, or the prospect, to getting them over the finish line and they become this customer. And one of the mistakes I see a lot of businesses making is, again, they're trying to, you see it on their website, or every call to action they make is either a demo or let's start doing business. And in the B2B world, in the B2C world, a lot of the time you can get away with that because consumers come in wanting to make a purchase. B2B, it's a lot longer of a sales process. And the key, I think, is to think about the sales process more of a courtship. So when I'm giving talks, I'll often share a video on YouTube that I came across. It's wonderful. It's this woman who has set up these, I think she met these guys on a dating app or something, and she set up a date with them, and she's pulling a prank. And she comes to the date, they're meeting out at a restaurant or something like that. She comes to the date dressed in a wedding gown. And as you can imagine, these guys come, expecting this is just a first date. I'm just going to get to meet, we're going to have drinks and maybe we'll exchange numbers and we'll see if it goes any farther than that. But she's coming as if, the deal is done and she's ready to get married right then and there. And it's a hilarious video. But it really exemplifies the kind of problem that I think the mistake a lot of businesses make. The key to avoid that is to see the sales process as a courtship. And so it's important to get into your customer's point of view, to have empathy and to understand who is your customer, what are their pain points, and what is it that they want right now. What they want and what you want may be two very different things. And so I think that marketing actually needs to take a different perspective. Often we're saying, what can we get from them? What can we get from our prospect? How can we get them across the line to sign contract? I'd rather be asking, what can we give to them? And it's a radically different kind of, it makes for a radically different kind of marketing approach, sales process. A guy named John Janch, who is a prominent marketing guru type guy, he says, what if you actually cared more about your customer's transformation than about your own transaction? And I think it's really key. I think that if we approach marketing from the standpoint of, let me see what I can do for you, you're gonna win a lot more customers because they're gonna want to be a part of that, right? If they see this company is actually caring for me, they are here for me and not for themselves, that's just naturally attractive. And people gravitate toward that, and customers do too. And so I think that's the starting point, is asking that question, not what can we get from them, but what can we give to them.
Yeah, I like that wedding analogy and not putting the cart before the horse. And there are some other good books out there also, like Traction and The Go-Giver that really focus on that. That's the whole EOS model. But let's say I'm a business owner who wants to start moving in that direction that you're talking about. What's the first thing that I should do?
Well, I think one of the first things you should do is to understand your customers and what they expect from you. And so a lot of that comes from customer interviews and talking to your customers and getting to know them and asking them questions. What brought you to us? Why did you choose to buy from us? What is it about our company that keeps you here? And why didn't you choose other companies, et cetera? And then from there, building out a customer journey. And you may have seen these different, there's the funnel model and the flywheel model and that kind of a thing. And again, this comes from John Janch and his company, Duct Tape Marketing. And I subscribe to the hourglass model. And the idea is you want to bring in customers, and then at the sale, that's like at the middle of the hourglass. Companies often kind of stop there. Once they've got the sale, it's done. And but then there's the bottom half of the hourglass as well, and you want to think about referrals or repeat business, and how do we get referrals as well? And so that makes kind of this hourglass shape.
Okay.
And so you want to build out a customer journey around that, and in the stages of that journey are know, they need to know you, they need to like your company, trust, obviously they need to trust your company. At that point, they're ready to try, and maybe that comes from a freemium model or a demo or something like that. At that point, they're ready to buy, and then you go to repeat and refer.
Okay.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so what if you're a company that doesn't have the budget to hire an agency for all, that robust type of a program?
Right, yeah, so the clients that I work with are businesses, tend to be small businesses who, they've been around for a while and they've kind of been fine, but they haven't really grown a whole lot. And because of that, they don't have a budget for a marketing agency. And so often they're in this position of, well, I guess we have to do this ourselves. And so the CEO is trying to make time for blogging or something like that, or you've got the VP of sales who's kind of doing two different jobs in one, and that's unsustainable. And yet, like you said, you can't always afford an agency. So what do? Well, consultants like myself actually fit perfectly right in the middle there. I work with, excuse me, I can come in and provide a marketing strategy, and it's something that I'll take 30 to 45 days to get to know the company. I'll interview people within the company. I'll interview their customers. I'll do market research and look at their competitors. And from that, develop messaging and help kind of identify their core message. I'll gain an understanding of exactly what their customers are struggling with and what are their motivations and pain points. And then looking at their competition, understanding, this is where my client excels and our competition doesn't. And so I'll present a strategy, and then if they like the strategy and like the work that I've done, they can hire me, or they can take the strategy and go somewhere else. Okay. And because I am a single business owner, I'm able to provide all of that less than an agency can. I don't have the overhead that an agency has. And I bring in specialists on an as-needed basis as subcontractors, and that keeps the expenses low. So you can get agency caliber marketing content or marketing at prices much lower than an agency would.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Bill. Appreciate you sharing all that. Sounds like you got a great program that really fits a kind of a niche out there that is underserved. How can people get a hold of you?
You can email me. My email is bill@goodnewsmarketing.com. Again, news is GNUS. So bill@goodnewsmarketing.com. You can check out my website at goodnewsmarketing.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn.
All right. Well, again, that's bill@goodnewsmarketing.com, spelled GNUS for the news. And thank you again, Bill. Really appreciate you coming to join us today. And we're going to go to a station break now. And when we return, you'll be hearing from me, James Watson, providing a summary of the topics covered today and some sales best practices and takeaways from each of the three guests that we had on today. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Steve Matley. As a construction professional, I know the importance of selecting the right contractor for the job. Power Solar employs only professional installers. Power Solar will provide a knowledgeable consultant to help analyze your current electric bill, identify site placement, and correct solar technology for your home. Contact KCAA producer at gmail.com for a free financial savings proposal with no obligation, or call 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken. Again, that's KCAA producer at gmail.com or 951-551-1350 and ask for Ken.
I love how New School is able to help me greatly with my career,
because they actually have experience working in the field. The greatest thing about New School is the fact that there are so many different disciplines, which allows you to really understand and get a good insight into different types of design. And I think it's that whole changing mindset of what design can really do for a city, and this is kind of the place to be.
This environment cultivates creative thinking.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing, and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Hello, and welcome back to Fire Up Connect. This is your host, James Watson of Sales Catapult. We just heard from 3 outstanding guests, and I'll now be providing a summary of the topics that were covered by each one of them, along with some strategic takeaways that they were kind enough to provide. And then I'll be adding in some sales-specific best practices from my perspective. First, we had Al Batinga and Deanna Mendeville of Digitized Learning, and Al is the CEO and Deanna is the COO. Al and Deanna run Digitized Learning, which is an organization that specializes in high-performance individuals and business teams. And their key takeaways are, number 1, as a high-performance individual, the first of 6 core skills that they outline is emotional intelligence. The second is that as a high-performance individual, the second of those 6 core skills is thinking. And then lastly, you should get excited about Kaizen, spelled Kaizen, which is a concept of continuous improvement. So for their takeaway offer is that for anyone managing a team, they will offer a $500 assessment, and you can call them on that. And for anyone who is on a team, they offer a 60-minute coaching call, which is at no obligation. And you can reach them at www.digitizelearning.com or 949-813-7200. Again, that's www.digitizelearning.com or 949-813-7200. Our second guest was Nidhi Dandrial, who's the head of LTS Accelerator, and she's heading the LTS Accelerator program and the LTS Startup business in USA. Her 3 actionable takeaways are that using the right accelerator can boost up your business sales and help you to plan your goals ahead. And second is understanding of making the right decision at the right time for your business with the help of mentors and industry pioneers is critical. And lastly, make sure you're not just focusing on one aspect of the business. It needs to be the right technology, the right sales and marketing plan and funds to take your business to the next level. And Nidhi is offering a complimentary business model assessment and a 15-minute feedback meeting from experts at Leo Technosoft. You can reach Nidhi at Nidhi, spelled Nidhid, at Leo Technosoft, LeoTechnosoft.net, or you can call or message her at 323-218-0050. Our last guest was Bill Kirschbaum, and he is a marketing consultant and the owner of Good News, and that's pronounced Good News like it sounds, but spelled GNUS. Bill is a marketing consultant for business-to-business companies. And his key takeaways are, number 1, you need to understand your customers and what they expect from you. Secondly, you need to create a strategic marketing plan that includes post-sale stages. And lastly, don't try to do it all on your own. He is willing to do a free marketing checkup and a complimentary consulting call to review your current marketing program and give you some feedback and recommendations. You can reach Bill at goodnewsmarketing.com. And news, again, is spelled GNUS. So Bill at goodnewsmarketing.com or on his mobile at 734-730-5665. And then finally, here's some key sales takeaways that hopefully can help some folks out. And number 1 is make sure you hire right. It's critical to have the right salespeople in place and to compensate them properly. Typically a good balance for a pure hunter salesperson, business development, or even a senior sales rep is a combination of 50% base and 50% variable, so that the on-target earnings are going to be, twice what the base salary is if the objectives are achieved. Secondly is to scale your sales by focusing at least half of your time and budget on sales and marketing. That usually happens eventually, but it really needs to happen almost immediately from the beginning of starting a business. And potentially that could help in mitigating some of the failure rate that is associated with startups, which is unfortunately very high. It's nearly 70% within the first 10 years. And lastly, build a sales plan and a playbook that aligns with your near and long-term objectives. Start with the end in mind and then reverse engineer your way back to establish what are the key metrics, what are the quotas you should have, what are the personnel that you should have in place, how many we have to have in place, and when. My call to action is to give a complimentary written assessment and on sales agility, and then a 30-minute review of those results. And again, that is complimentary. And I can be reached at jwatson@salesacceleration.com. That's spelled JWATSON at sales, SALES, acceleration, spelled XCELERATION.com. There's no E before the X. Or you can reach me on my cell phone at 310-488-1864. I can also be identified on LinkedIn under James Watson at Sales Catapult. The Fire Up Connect radio show airs every Sunday at 2 p.m. on KCAA radio, which is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. This is also recorded and available on demand on YouTube and Roku TV under Building Solid Foundations. And each segment is posted on my LinkedIn, which is James Watson at Sales Catapult. Thank you for tuning in.
The Legacy.